Welcome to the Beacon by Soul 33, teachings for your past, present and future. Good morning everyone. It is the 7th of August, the second week of August for 2023. And we have another Monday mantra. If you're listening to this on YouTube, Spotify or the app, please don't forget to like, subscribe, tag, share, let people know that this platform exists and that there is a 20 odd minute soul progression lesson for them to listen to know what you need to look at and think about this week so that life isn't aimless. And I love to be disciplined and aware as to what life is asking of me, and I share these with you so that you can do the same. So with the full moon last week, how did you feel? Now, I actually felt pretty good during the full moon, like the night of the full moon, the days after. I felt a lot of energy and motivation. Obviously, everyone would be feeling and going through different things. For me, I noticed it was the week before, the lead up to the full moon, so that everything starts to be processed so it can be fully let go around that moon phase period. So start to pay attention. Use your moon phase calendar on the app to fill in the boxes, how you feel at the time, because it's good for you to have awareness as to what you're feeling and when, because life is full of cycles, and it's important to try and look for those cycles and use them to your advantage rather than feeling miserable for no reason and not using the moon to let go. So I felt like I'd processed a lot in the lead up and then was ready to go for that amazingly beautiful full moon, which I shared some pictures that I took. You know, they never do any justice, those pictures, because the moon looks so much more magnificent to the naked eye, but it was a beautiful full moon. So last week, as I recap the Monday mantras, those of you who are listening, who are new listeners, your Monday mantras will all start telling a story as you listen week by week, because it's like a transition in energy, the cycles that I'm talking about. Last week was I take command over my growth and allow opportunities to unfold. So with this supercharged month, things have been really chaotic, and it's like an emotional chaos that has transitioned from the end of July into August. And it's because there's so much growth that's being asked from us, the review of things and healing them, not just parking them or pushing them aside or ignoring them. You know, emotions are terribly challenging things, but I always love it when I feel miserable, because I know there's going to be a breakthrough, because I'm not the type of person that will just sit there and wallow. I will wallow for a period and then I'll be like, right, what am I being asked? What is this for? And then there's always an amazing breakthrough, especially if you're processing any type of grief, the loss of someone, breakup, whatever. You really can use all of those emotions for power to live your best life. Doesn't mean if you've actually physically lost someone that pain will ever go away completely, but it can be used, because grief is for liberation. It's our choice how we view our emotions. So what was coming up for you last week, and how was it giving you perspective? As I went through the week and saw clients, I really could see the Monday mantra playing out in terms of what was happening for my clients. And I could see that people were starting to get good perspective. And so what happens when people call me for a session, right? I generally will not ask you why you want a session. I will go in there initially with what I feel. And people seem to think that soul progression is just about their purpose, but Spirit has been bringing up a lot of relationship stuff, because that is what is the energy at the moment. And I'm not talking about just relationships with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever. I'm talking about relationships with people you don't necessarily talk to, or people that you do need to commit with, or people that you are meant to share your feelings with and not the other person. So a lot of this sort of stuff is coming up very evidently, and that is part of your soul progression, making a choice to open up relationships or reconnect where you need to on a deeper level. So please don't think your soul progression is just about, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing with my life. It's like, if Spirit is, because some people will say to me, oh, the purpose of why I'm calling you is, and I'm just like, well, that might be your purpose, but that's not what Spirit wants to talk about. And Spirit's always right, because they're tuning into what you really need. It's the same with me. I might think I need something, and then Spirit goes, oh, hang on, no, Gaia, this is what you actually need to be focusing on, and something else comes and falls in my lap. The other thing that's been coming up is boundaries. And I've been noticing that a lot with me in terms of my general life. It's like not being mean and horrible, but kind assertiveness. This is what I want to do. This is what I don't want to do. And you're focusing on what you do want to do, because what you don't want to do is the consequence, basically, of following what you do want to do. So you're asserting your power and position. And please note, that is not from an egotistical point of view of like, oh my gosh, I am meant to be controlling everything. It's like my power as a woman, my power as a man, my power as whatever it is that you associate with. The prioritization to take the self-command, like taking ownership of your self-forgiveness, not having done things for yourself earlier, but the timing is perfect now, because this is why certain chapters are closing, or you're being asked to close certain chapters, and you're maybe getting really clear evidence, because you need to cultivate that self-love. And that full moon energy was very, very releasing, because we needed to release in those last couple of weeks, because we've got the Lionsgate portal coming up on the 8th, which is in New Zealand tomorrow. So as we move through the week, the opposites card came up as I pulled from the digital oracle deck, which is available on the app for you to pull and listen to your own readings and reminders. It's about the opposites card came up because it's taking command but letting things unfold, moving forward but stepping back, inner conflict but knowing. And it's a time of the opposites working with the polarity for gaining perspective. So because I'm always looking for different perspectives, like you might call me for something, I'm going to give you a different perspective on what you actually need to be focusing on, which could be a relationship thing, but could be completely correlated with your business, for example. Spirit knows what it's doing when you call me. You might not get it, I might not get it, but it is always for your highest good, for your soul progression. So opposites are working together to gain perspective. So if you're struggling with challenging emotions at this time, even if it's frustration, anger, sadness, whatever it is, do the opposite of what you want to do. Now that sounds very counterintuitive, but it's like sometimes you've got to do the opposite to be able to look at things differently. So if you've been doing something the same way for a while and you're still crying about it and frustrated about it, for example, I think someone, I can't remember who it was I spoke to, was saying, I've been, with my partner for 25 years and they're just doing this over, nothing's changed. And I'm like, well, you've got to change. You've got to actually do the opposite if you want that person to change, because they're not going to do it, because you're the one that's on the healing journey, because you're here with me questioning this, trying to get perspective. So the opposite card came up to remind us to look at the opposite of where we're currently standing in life, and how do the two halves make a whole picture. Our narrow-minded human perspective is not enough for our soul progression. And I just could feel this immense, I work with spirit every day. To me, it's just like washing my hands. It's a normal thing that you do without thinking. But Spirit is so excited at the moment, because they're really communicating with us through our intuition, asking us to look at what is being presented in front of us, to give us that perspective for you to take on and look at what's coming your way, and opportunities coming your way, because things are being cleared in front of you to show you what opportunities are coming your way. And things are not as it seems. You may think something is about something else, but this is where you need to look from the opposite side, so that you can grow and strengthen the foundation that you have for yourself, within yourself, or for your relationships. It's a very, very exciting kind of month, and I am really looking forward to seeing what happens as we move through this portal energy, because reviewing our choices from our current perspective will give us growth, And traumas, loads of traumas, even with me, are being triggered again and again when you're asked to recreate new memories. Traumas are being triggered to recreate new memories, not to traumatize you, not to hurt you, not to keep you stuck. It's to set you free. Things don't need to be the same as they were before. They are opportunities. When traumas come up or triggers come up, they are opportunities in disguise as conflict. So for me, I've been having inner conflict because there are things that I need to process. And there's a sabotaging element to that, which is affecting all of us. That's why I'm experiencing it, because I need to communicate it with you. Clients have had so much to deal with in setting themselves free, and the choices that you make is your self-command to empower your growth, and looking from all of those perspectives to see the potential consequences of your choices. Now, before I talk about this week's Monday mantra, which is exciting energy, and remember, I'm looking from a very positive perspective, because that's what we always need to move forward. But you have to apply it to whatever is challenging in your life, because when we look at the Monday mantra, it is to look at life with curiosity and asking yourself, how's my soul progressing with this information that Gaia is giving me, and what is actually showing up in my life? Remember, I'm always here for you. There's always different ways, different tiers to see me. The most powerful way to see me is through a soul ceremony, which is a face-to-face session. It is not for everybody. And when I see you face-to-face, I only see one client. When I see you face-to-face, I only see one client, and all that energy is for you. Now, these are very limited because I don't see many people face-to-face purely because of the amount of energy that it takes. But if you do want these sessions, and especially it's getting booked up for next year, because we've got people flying in from overseas, and they've already booked flights for their follow-up sessions as well. So soul ceremony is something to consider. You do not need to see me all the time when it's a soul ceremony. It's like you want that powerful impact, and then you get on with your life. So that's the number one tier way to see me. Ascension Seekers is when you don't want to wait on the regular wait list. They are sooner Zoom appointments only. There's the regular wait list if you are more cost conscious. There are personalized meditations, which are highly recommended for all of you. I create amazing personalized meditations for you because I am tuning into what you need to be able to progress your soul in your own time. I infuse energy into them, so you are actually getting an energy shift. There are soul magics. Now, soul magics can be done at any time. I use a candle to actually craft spells for you to align you with what you want or clear what you want for your highest good. So those of you who hear the word spells and start freaking out, anything that you are intending, words that you say, affirmations, it's all a spell. And I'm using the word spell because I want you all to get comfortable with that terminology, because it is who I am. And those of you who know me will know that I'm doing this work because it's a gift that is given to me by God, the universe, the spirit guides, whatever you want to call it for your beliefs. And spells is just the word that I like to use. Mini readings, if you want 3 PDF questions answered briefly. Now, remember, you're not going to get an emotional support from me from these mini readings. That if you have something to ask, then I will answer them and get straight to the point. So any of these services, including renewing your app membership or becoming an app member, which is only $60 a year, Karen is the person, soul33@gmail.com, or go to the website www.soul33.com and you will figure out how to get in contact with us or have a look to see what's on there. Okay, moving on to this week. Your Monday mantra is receiving and committing to my wants and needs. I am receiving and committing to my wants and needs. The energy is open and pulling us into the portal of truth and victory. Now, to go into this portal to experience truth and victory, if we think about those words and break them down, truth is not always an easy thing when we hear the truth or face the truth, because we have all this conditioning based on death is horrible. But actually, death is only just a part of the journey when we lose the body and carry on to bigger, more victorious things. And when you think about victory, if we place that word, say, onto a battle, for lack of a better example, you go through challenges before you can be victorious. And that's why this energy isn't for the faint-hearted. It's courage that's needed to refocus, to transform our relationships with people and our relationships with money. Because money is energy, it's prosperity, it's abundance. The infinity and prosperous 8-8. So the date 8 with August, the 8th month, is what creates this energetic portal in the sign of Leo. Now, I've written an article for Capsule Magazine New Zealand. So if you Google that, I will put it up on the homepage of the app, Capsule NZ, to talk about Lionsgate in more detail. But for the energy this week, whatever time you can spend alone, please do so. I know parents are busy, but I'm talking about even if it's sitting for 20 minutes to do the Lionsgate portal meditation, that's what I mean, because you want to connect to the areas that require the transformation without distractions, and protecting your energy at this time is recommended, meaning that you're not distracted by other people's energy while you are looking at the areas that require transformation. Look from different viewpoints. So this is the part that's a continuation from last week's energy, so that you can understand which would be the path of least resistance. Truth and victory comes from the path of least resistance. Now, that doesn't mean that that path is the easy path. It's the path that is just you're surrendering to and walking down, going, okay, I can't make this person change, so I'm going to work on myself, because there's going to be more resistance trying to force someone to do something they don't want to do, whereas you can take control over yourself. That's the self-command from last week. Any path you decide on won't be easy, but will give you an outcome that you want, because it's your choice to embark on this journey. You're not dragging somebody else on it. You're on it doing what you need to do. Really watch out for the sabotaging behavior from yourself and others. Some people will be in this position where like everything's really too good to be true, and you might be creating problems. So that can be an element of sabotage at this moment when it comes to receiving and then committing to your wants and needs. It's really easy to lose faith in life because, things happen that go, oh, here we go, that deja vu energy that we had not last week but the week before. But in the universe, this is why when I give information to clients, because I'm a realist and a practical person, I always say just take it with a grain of salt, because in life there's going to be delays, there's going to be you break up and get back together again, you're going to get a cold, you're going to fall over and hurt your knee. These things kind of just happen. But in the universe, it's perfection. And perfection doesn't mean, oh, wonderful. Perfection is, I was born, I grew up, I grew up to be an old lady, and then I died. That's still all perfection. But people misconstrue what perfection means as feeling wonderful and beautiful all the time. Perfection is in the cycles. Perfection is taking the time pressure off. And because in the universe, there is no time. So that's why Spirit will give me information for 10 years down the track, but they're like, no, you need to know this now for whatever reason. So here on earth, it's a different story. We're here to learn, and patience is a big lesson. That means not expecting things to be perfectly perfect in time, but to trust that the path is perfectly imperfect for us to grow from. So what are you wanting to manifest during this portal energy? Sandalphon, I've put that exercise up last week, but to do after your portal energy, because it's like my wish is granted. And whatever you are wanting to manifest, please know that going through this portal energy, that's the magical part, but you still have to have discipline and direction. So people who call me and I go, okay, so what do you want to do with your life? That's the $1 million question. You actually have to have discipline and take steps forward for information like that to come up. That's part of your soul progression here on earth. It's not to go, oh, you're going to meet Gaia and Gaia's going to go, yep, you're meant to be an accountant. It's like you need to discover that, and that takes discipline and direction. Trust your instincts at this time. That can be really hard, but trust your instincts and be proactive on those instincts, because when you do, you're going to expect some really surprising outcomes and you are guaranteed victory, but you need to look from the broader spiritual perspective as to what that means. Your experiences this week are teaching you some great lessons in what you need to know to better your life. And light, just think, when you're thinking about a portal, light will shine on areas you need to focus on for the betterment of your growth, for you and your growth and your relationships and your money. So receiving, allowing yourself to receive, committing to my wants and needs is your Monday mantra. A lot to think about. Use this energy. Meditate a lot this week. Do your homework exercises every day where you have the time, or if you can't, just do one a day. Do your personalized meditations. Invest in those. Those are an amazing way for you to shift energy and really understand your journey. My capacity is still the same, but my wait lists are getting longer. So if you're needing sessions, just get on the wait list, ask Kieran what's available, and trust the timing. Like, just to give you an example, I had a soul ceremony over the weekend with a beautiful young woman, and this woman had traveled to see me, and this goes for the timing of everything. Her spirit guide came through and said, I've got a baby boy here. And the client started crying. And I said, when did you lose this child? And she said, last week. And this session had been booked in, I don't know how long, because that's all done with Kieran, but it would have been months, or even longer possibly. And it's like, that person may have thought they were coming for something else, but Spirit knows the truth. So what is it that you need to know for your soul progression? Don't forget to get in on your sessions now, or whatever services that you need. Your app is here for you, and this app has been a real investment both financially and time for me. So the more that you share and let people know and tag and be honest about how you are getting your spiritual growth, the easier it will be for me to create more for you. I'm so grateful to have you here. Remember, Kieran is my right-hand woman. She is the person to go to for if you're having any IT problems, please ask her. She's in direct communication with our full-time developers that are on the app, soul33@gmail.com, receiving and committing to my wants and needs. Enjoy this portal energy. August is a big month. So go into it with curiosity and excitement, and listen to your Monday mantra a few times a week and really see how things can be applied to the energy of the week. Enjoy this infinite, beautiful energy. You are so worthy of what you want to receive.